Welcome back to this Thursday morning. 9:20 is the time on this 8th day of August. We're joined now on the line via phone by the CEO of WEPOWER, Charli Cooksey. How are we doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. I'm grateful for it to be August and not too hot today.
You know, isn't that what I keep telling people? It is so amazing that we are in the low 80s for a day in August. It's just incredible. Well, Charli, this is a really exciting weekend coming up on August 16th through the 18th. So next weekend, WEPOWER Weekend, right off the bat, fill us in, if you could, in an overview on what this weekend's all about.
Yeah, sure. So WePower is celebrating its third annual WePower Weekend. And what really inspired the creation of it was the pandemic and all of us sitting at home in isolation, watching so much happen locally and globally and needing to be in deep community. And so we said, as soon as we get a chance, we're going to bring people outside to come together, to celebrate, to build community, but to do so with a purpose. So we've been doing that for 3 years through WePower Weekend. Friday is our exclusive garden party. It's one of the special and most amazing parties in the region. You get to celebrate in a garden. We have live music. We have tons of food in our hors d'oeuvres. We have an open bar, and we have lots of surprises. But it's really about partying with a purpose. So having fun, dancing, celebrating, but being clear about the need for St. Louis and the Metro East to improve our early childhood education system and close the racial wealth gap. And then on Saturday, we have voter registration. So we're trying to get as many people registered to vote as possible leading up to the November elections. And Sunday, we culminate with Self-Care Sunday. It's an amazing experience. We have brunch, yoga, mimosas, and we take care of ourselves before we head into the work week.
Well, and this just sounds incredible and definitely such a needed mission. And Charli, I got to ask you, I heard something today, and you're definitely more in tune with the community over and especially in St. Louis than I am. But I heard that the busing situation for early education and just, K through 12 is a nightmare over there. Is that the case?
Yeah, so to clarify, there isn't traditionally busing offered for early childhood education, but for K-12 public schools, that is definitely the standard. And our public school district in St. Louis City has been navigating serious busing challenges for the past year or so. And so that creates a really big barrier for parents and families and young people when we rely on a busing system to be safe, to be consistent, and to be able to get our kids to the school so they can get a great education. So they have started to roll out, as I understand it, a new plan, but I still sense that there's a lot of barriers that will remain as we kick off this upcoming school year.
Oh, you're 100% right there, Charli, and thank you for the clarification. I heard that today and just thought, this is something that's unheard of, and to know—
Yeah, it's devastating.
Absolutely. And this weekend, coming up on the 16th, I want to talk about that garden party a little bit more. I know that this is a 21-plus event, and it has an elegant backdrop for building connections and celebrating communities' vibrant cultures. But I got to ask you, too, from your experience, what's the picture setting? If you could paint it for us, what's that look like? Because I can only imagine such a beautiful event from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. on August the 16th.
Yeah, so people often describe it as feeling out of St. Louis, honestly. It feels like we are entering an oasis of color, of vibrancy, of energy, and it's folks who are dressed in a way that's comfortable yet very chic. So folks will wear dresses and suits and shorts and tops that have some type of garden vibe to them. We have lots of different experiences ranging from like live art shows to activations where you can access flowers we're handing out or people on stilts. But most importantly, throughout the night, you get to learn more about our community. You get to learn more about early childhood education. There's lots of information spread throughout the venue. You get to learn more about the economy and figure out how do we pair community and joy with making change in St. Louis. And you get to usually see some folks you haven't seen in a while. It usually brings together people who have shared values and commitment to making St. Louis and Metro East better, but don't necessarily get to see each other as frequently as they want.
Well, and I really appreciate this. Now that I'm really starting to understand here, Charlie, because you're right. In these settings, and I've been a part of some of, not We Power, but certain events that are somewhat similar, not really, but have the same kind of aurora to it. And what I think can be challenging sometimes is when you have these events, we have those rose-colored glasses as we are catching up with folks we haven't seen for 10 years or 15 years. But take me through the empowerment that you feel whenever you have a group of people around that are reconnecting, but also reconnecting with that purpose.
Yeah, I think this year in particular feels even more urgent in terms of folks wanting to connect, given that, excuse me, so much is on the line with this November election. But what makes the garden party unique is it is a lot of diverse folks coming together. You'll see younger folks, you'll see older folks, you'll see grandmas and aunties and uncles and fathers, but you'll see elected leaders and business owners and philanthropists and civic leaders and social sector leaders. So it really is a diverse set of folks coming together. And it's about having really tough conversations, but doing so with a drink, doing so with a crab cake in your hand, doing so while you're maybe moving your body to the sound of some amazing music. But it really sparks folks to think about what action can I take beyond tonight? How do I party and celebrate, but how do I make change? And so for us, we are working really hard to increase public funding so that early childhood is affordable, as close to free as possible, quality and joyful. So that is what we're calling on folks to do who attend the garden party, to make the pledge to get involved with us as we advocate for improving early childhood. And then on the wealth building side, there is a serious racial wealth gap. The median wealth that exists for Black and Latinx folks is about $2,000 or less, compared to the median household wealth of a white family is well over $100,000. And so when we think about that huge disparity, we have a lot of work to do. We need to invest in more Black and Latinx-owned businesses. We need to change policies and raise the minimum wage. There's a lot of work to be done. And so through the garden party, we build that awareness, but also invite folks to get involved, whether it's getting access from WePower to grow your business or joining a coalition where we advocate for economic policy change.
And it just, and honestly, Charlie, it just sounds like one of these opportunities that you want to be a part of, and you want to really feel that that movement, and you want to be a part of that change. And on top of that, too, I just want to give you a quick shout out for making me feel more at home. You got Old Bakery Beer Company that's going to be out there for complimentary drinks and food by Pure Catering, who I heard is just awesome.
Very delicious.
Oh, that's awesome. Now you're planning for a great garden party here. But
absolutely.
Charlie, and I think you could agree with me, one of the most important things that we can do as citizens of this country is vote. And on Saturday, August the 17th, you're having a Get Out the Vote community canvassing. Could you fill me in on this?
Sure. So we'll be inviting people to talk to voters with us and talk to future voters. We will be registering as many people to vote across the region as possible and educating them ahead of November elections, and also educating on the issues that matter to us. So making sure they're aware of considering which candidates on the November ballot support early childhood education, which candidates on the ballot support raising things like the minimum wage. And we will have lunch as well. We always feed people. We're known for, no matter how hard our work is, we always make sure to have a good meal. So we will have catering provided on Saturday so folks can get involved, but also have a good meal in their tummy.
Well, there's no better sales pitch than that. I can tell you that. Well, and I wanted to ask you this, especially following the Missouri primaries, if it's okay. Where we're at now, right after primary day, I mean, we're now heading just straight towards the general election. Do you have do you feel confidence in this November election for the outcomes that could affect St. Louis directly?
I feel hopeful that between now and November, we will register people, we will educate people and equip people to be more informed and to be more committed to showing up to vote on election day. And so we're in interesting times, as you know. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime, and I'm pretty sure my mom hasn't seen anything like this in her lifetime as a boomer. So it's honestly really hard to predict what will happen on election day. But I do know there's work we can do, like you and me, to try and protect our future, and that's by getting civically engaged starting today.
Absolutely. And as we go into Self-Care Sunday, and this has been a great conversation, by the way, Charli, thank you so much for your time. Self-Care Sunday seems like a great opportunity as well, just to kind of reflect on the weekend overall. I know that there's some other amenities that are there, but just to, sit back and reflect out of, why we took this time to be together and then to get to Sunday, it's got to be a really great feeling too. Can you kind of shed some light on that?
For sure. So Friday, we're partying in the garden. Some of us might party a little too hard. And Saturday, we're out in the heat and the sunlight, getting our steps in, knocking on doors, talking to lots of folks. So we thought it was only right to make sure that folks were able to care for themselves and care for each other at the closing of the weekend. And so we are working with the Collective STL. They're a Black collective of yogis based on the St. Louis side, and they will be guiding us through some yoga, some breath work, some meditation work to really ground ourselves and be present. And then we will transition to brunch by Pure Catering and mimosas to say we got to take care of our mental and our physical, and we have to do so in beloved community. So we wrap up with a lighter event that nourishes us after an intense Friday and Saturday.
Absolutely. And I also saw that this event, the Self-Care Sunday event, will be for everybody, correct?
Yep, it's for everyone. If you RSVP while you can, we are balling on a budget, which means we have a limited budget. And so we will have to close that RSVP list soon. So it's a first come, first serve, but no cost. The only thing that costs is Friday, the garden party, and that's because it's a fundraiser. And so we are hoping as many folks as possible are willing to invest $55 in our mission. Yeah, that's it. And you get 2 drinks. We have like 10 appetizers, live music.
I'm not even...
We overlook the Mississippi. You get to see both sides you get to see the Illinois side, and it's a really good deal. So I think people should buy up their tickets and help us advance their mission and have a good time while doing so. I
wasn't being funny. I mean, when you said that just took me off my chair almost. I mean,
I agree.
What a deal. Well, and I wanted to, if it's okay, we have about 2 minutes left. And I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the Metro East Community Wealth Action Group. Could you fill me in on what this coalition is and what they're trying to, what their mission is too?
Sure. So a few years ago, probably around 2018, 2019, we were working with residents in East St. Louis to gear up to launch our first economic policy campaign. And we always started our work with deep listening. And what we kept hearing over and over is that folks need access to quality living wage jobs in their community. And then we went to the St. Louis side and heard the same thing. And so we formed this coalition called the Community Wealth Action Group. And it's all about how do we bring together everyday people to advocate for better jobs, for closing the racial wealth gap. But this year in particular, we will be activating residents to lead work to get folks registered to vote and show up this November and make sure that we're voting for candidates that address the racial wealth gap on the East St. Louis Metro East side.
Absolutely. And, I was just talking to Congresswoman Budzinski about some of the things that were going on the Illinois side of that region. And just to hear some of the things that are going on, from sewage and basements of folks' homes and going to the St. Louis side, Charli, with having, radioactive waste in a lot of creek beds. I mean, this is insane.
I mean, it is, I would argue, criminal. The things that the people of the Metro East have had to navigate for decades, or honestly at this point for a century, is unacceptable. And we really have to be more attentive to make sure that folks are living in safe environments and we're not taking advantage, frankly, of Black communities and turning them into toxic wasteland. So there are orgs doing important work across the state to better protect the people of the Metro East, but we have a lot more work to do to make sure that our environments really support the well-being of everyday people.
And Charli, it's been a wonderful opportunity to get the chance to speak with you on the phone. Charli Cooksey is the CEO of WePower. WePower Weekend is August the 16th through August 18th. I wanted to emphasize this for the public that are watching this show now live or going to watch it on demand later, that Saturday and Sunday are free and open to all. But Friday will be that little bit of an exclusive event where you said $55?
Yeah, $55.
And it all goes towards a great cause and a great mission. Charli, thank you so much for your time. And I hope
this is great.
I hope to talk again with you soon, too.
I hope so, too. And I hope to see you next Friday.
Absolutely. That'd be fun.
Great. I'll see you next Friday in person. Thanks for having me.
That sounds good. We'll take a quick break here. Our daily show continues right after this quick one on RiverBender.com, Roku TV.